All right, it's 4:15 on the call the meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Sam Martin. Here. Martha Eldridge.
Here.
Morgan's here. Public input. Ed.
Here's our chance. What I have here is a petition warrant article. If signed and passed, this would allow us to choose to have an elected school district budget committee. So if you're interested, do not leave the area until you sign this. We just have to get 25 signatures like you would do in the warrant situation with the town. It gets submitted to the school board and they have to put it on the ballot. This would allow us to do it. The first year, the moderator appoints, and then the years after, they would be elected the same way as the school board is elected. So don't leave before you sign this. Thank you.
Anybody else under public input? Joe?
Joe Deegan. I'm here with the Economic Development Council. When Ash came back, he had, from the budget committee, or talking with you guys about the budget for the EDC, it was brought up about doing some in-town advertising possibly on billboards, and so it's been put on to me to find out what your thoughts are towards that.
Certainly it's been discussed. I think it's a great idea. I mean, whether it, coming up with some sort of a message, and that's something that obviously would probably kick right back to EDC, because I mean, that to me seems to be the place where we'd be looking to advertise, is on the premise of getting businesses to locate here.
Yep.
I think it's just
so
really...
if you worked here, you'd be home now, type of thing? So if you worked here, you'd be home now, type
It
of thing?
would. I just think somehow, and I know the folks in the economic development would agree with this, somehow we need to get the message out that we are not only open for business, but we want them to come here. I think we've got a lot of things going for us. That the tax abatement that we just passed, that several other towns around us didn't pass, Ossipee did. The economic revitalization zones. Somehow we need to get that out. I don't know if you can get all that on a billboard. Maybe a billboard is going to be something as simple as, if you worked here, you'd already be home.
Yeah.
But somehow, I think we need to get that message out better about that we're not only open for business, we really actively want them to look at us.
Okay.
I don't know if the billboard is one of maybe.
Yeah. Would you like us to explore in town only, or look outside? As far as billboard advertising goes.
But if you lived here, you better be an Ossipee.
Yeah.
And also-
Obviously. Well, that steals from the apartment buildings that are down on Soldiers Field Road. That's I'm not even sure if it's out there, but it was there for years, and it helped sell the apartments.
And
But
also, you not only can you live here, but you can sell there.
well, right, exactly. So, all right. So I'll bring that back. We'll start thinking up some ideas and moving along.
I don't know, Ash, maybe to simply advertise. Now, I'm sure, we have a website which has got a lot of information on it. Print media is, I think, probably very expensive, at least it was when I was still cheap. Even to do a help wanted ad was very expensive. We can't be the only ones doing this, I wouldn't expect. Would it be worthwhile to fund an actual ad campaign, whether it be billboards, print media, radio blip? Some of that stuff is not expensive. I don't know.
I know that we all know that Rochester at one point in time advertised here in our town for Rochester, which I thought was bold, and I envy that. That was a great move. I think there are a lot of ways that we can get the word out now that we've kind of packaged up a great incentive for businesses to start here. I think that we could put together some options and see where those prices land. Joe was tasked at our last EDC meeting to just research and try to find out what it is this board is willing to do or would like us to do. Putting slogans together, putting we have a lot of reasons to move your business here or start your business here. Outside of that, what kind of advertising you'd like to see or what kind of budget we might have to work with. A north side of a billboard is a different price than a south side of a billboard on 16. So it's really just kind of getting the temperature of the board and how eager we are to do something.
I think up until now, you two please jump in. I mean, we have been, this board and the previous board has been receptive to the point of you tell us what you need.
Yep.
And then it's our job, quite frankly, to get it to. If we all collectively agree, which I hope is universal, that if you want to have a net positive impact on your taxes, commercial is without question the only answer, not just an answer, the only answer. There is a net negative with virtually any house that's bought or built in Ossipee if it brings just one child. You have a significant net negative day one. Never mind the fact that we would love for more of our young people to be able to actually have a career and work and choose to stay here. I mean, those are all to me great side benefits, but if strictly from an economic standpoint, if you want to have a positive impact on the tax rate, it has to be on the commercial side.
And we have the 20 miles on Route 16. I don't think it's bad to be able to leverage that when you have people coming up and down constantly. The traffic count on that, I'm trying to remember right now, the traffic count's somewhere around 15,000 a day in Ossipee.
I think it's actually higher than that.
And then it's got to go higher on the weekend. So I think it's something that we should leverage, definitely, using the road.
The other thing that I mentioned before, and I don't think we've ever done, is to try to actually compile an inventory of available commercial property. One of the other things that I think could be tremendously important, maybe we print up, maybe we have signs printed up and give them to all of the owners of those properties and stake it out for them. I can't imagine, again, if somebody was looking to sell it, that they would balk at any free advertising, yet it could be very beneficial for the town from a taxes standpoint. Ash and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and it's something we got to work on now that we've passed these rule changes to allow for this abatement. How are we letting people know that?
Yeah.
These are things that we've got to,
put together a little
these are things that we've got to work through the details of. I mean, it's a great program, but people don't know you have it.
One of the things that we were doing with the Economic Development Council and working with Ellen, grabbing the abutters list to the ER zones, we've drafted a letter that would then go out to all of those abutters starting at the beginning of the new year, so that they all get a letter, they all see what the benefits are to being in that zone.
Take those zones in conjunction with
Yeah, it's huge.
a 50% tax abatement up for up to 5 years on any new construction or improvements is, most small businesses, that 5 years is their make or break.
And the other thing is that's only town and state. There's still federal benefits that you can apply for as a commercial landowner.
It's important to get that maps and that information on your page on the website, because we get at least 1,000 hits a day,
Yep.
and twice that in the summer.
Yep.
People looking for information.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd say, my position would be all of the above. Come up with some sort of a plan and a cost estimate, and then let's look at it. I mean, obviously, we're in the middle of budget season right now. Budgets are budgets. I mean, nobody wants them to go up, but sometimes they have to. And if that's what is necessary, then that's a decision to be made ultimately by the people on the floor of town meeting. But
And for clarification on that, the last budget hearing to actually increase is February 12th, right? I think that we'll actually be able to possibly justify an increase in our budget if we can get or a plan together? Or
Yeah, I would certainly not encourage waiting that long. You know, if you could do something in the next, and I realize the holidays are here, but I mean, if you could do something by the second week of January, because that's the time frame when we're pulling all of the warrant articles together and trying to prioritize what we're going to support and what we're not going to, as it comes to what it does for impact on the taxes, so.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else under public input? Sure.
Hi,
Hi.
my name's Loretta Stone. I'm over at Duncan Lake Road. I've never been to one of these meetings, so sorry, I'm not sure how they work. But we did read in the minutes about some potential new business with Effingham using the pit at the end of Duncan Lake Road. So we wanted to express some concerns we have with that.
Okay.
I bought my house back in 2000. We actually moved here last year, but I've been here every weekend, and during the week, especially even on weekends, there's a lot of big trucks that come down the road, and I have to tell you, it's very dangerous. My sister also lives on the road as well, and the trucks come by really fast, so it's very dangerous. I have 2 dogs I walk every day, and they just go way past the speed limit. So having additional volume of large trucks on that road, it's a small road, it's only a mile long, is bad. And then in the spring, with the mud season, which everyone I'm sure can appreciate, when these trucks come down the road, it's not just a little trail of dust, it's a mountain of dust that you cannot get away from. So we're breathing in all that dust, which I'm sure is not good for us. So I wanted to express concerns that we have from a personal perspective and a health perspective, that we do not want that additional business. So I'm not sure how, do we just say?
First of all, welcome. Glad
Thank you.
We got notified as an abutter, basically. And it was a notification from the Effingham Planning Board because we're an abutter, of that application which is ongoing over there. We have not taken a position of support or opposition to it. We were just notified that these hearings are starting to go on. Brad wasn't here last week. This is Brad Harriman. He's our Public Works Director. One of the things that we were going to be asking him to look at is what impact that additional truck traffic might have on our road. Your points are extremely valid. I would be amazed if anybody that lives on the road would be in favor of more truck traffic than what they already endure. We haven't yet taken a position on it with Effingham. What I'm going to suggest you do is to get together, not really a petition, but a letter, and get as many of your neighbors on that street to sign on to it who are willing. Bring that back to us, because then that is something that we collectively could take to the town of Effingham and say, listen, our residents who are on that road are not in favor of this project, and this is why. Whether it will stop it, I don't know that, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
So that's an input, but who ultimately decides?
Ultimately, I don't know if we have the power to stop them from using town road. Do you know, Brett?
I don't think we do.
We can make them address impact. If they're going to impact our road, we can make them address that, I know. I'm not sure. Honestly, we'll have to do a little checking, but I do know that your voices ought to be heard. It's not me that lives down there, it's not us that lives down there, it's you. So I would get that letter together. I wouldn't delay on that, and we'll advocate on that, probably based on that it's not something that we're in favor of, but whether or not we can stop it, I don't know.
And you might want to attend the meetings over there in Effingham. You can go, those are public meetings, so
Yeah.
you can go and listen to what's going on.
Yeah.
And how do we get that information?
On their website, you should be able to find out when their meetings are.
Do you have it on yours, Ed?
Yes, it's tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It's usually 5, but tomorrow it's 4.
I work, so like I said, I can
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's,
she's going to want to go to the planning board meeting.
The planning
The
board.
planning board
That's on
meeting is
Thursday.
what she should be attending.
He can tell you when the planning board meetings are. You, okay.
do you film them, Ed?
Excuse me?
Do you film them?
Not the planning board.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just an informal discussion that we were noticed on.
Okay.
But you'd be able to see their agenda, check
The
on their
agenda.
website.
Check their agenda.
Check the agenda for the planning board.
Waiting for me?
Yeah. We thought you knew when every government entity in the county had met.
Well, I know it's a Thursday. It meets the first Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And it says here, and generally the third Thursday.
Town hall.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else under public input? Ash?
I didn't know if our letter was going to be addressed during public input or if that was.
That's in the folder, but go ahead.
So the Ossipee Economic Development Council submitted a letter to the Board of Selectmen asking for its support in helping to raise a $60,000 warrant article for a new playground here in town.
Like Delaware. I'd like to see this raise it to.
I love your attitude. The reason that I didn't is because we believe working through the company that we would probably use, they help us find matching. If that's something this board wants to do. If you'd like us to increase that, we certainly won't say no.
She wants to do a second playground.
A second playground. Oh, I'm sorry, for Constitution? But did you want that under the same warrant article? I wouldn't think you would. Yeah,
But I'd like to see a second one.
yeah, I think,
I don't want to see this go by the wayside.
I believe Craig is working on that with the support of the Economic Development Council. But I wanted to keep it separate from that while we will be certainly promoting that idea. I rode around with Craig to all the parks and I think it would be an asset over there. As far as ours go here in town, I think I've got most of the information I need. The company that we would like to use is a company called Burke. They actually do all of the engineering and the planning, everything that goes with it, from going to the planning board, going to whatever it is we need to do in design, and pretty much present it the night of town meeting. We're working, if we can gain the support of this board, we'll start furthering that conversation to try to speed things up for design work and things like that, because they will go to bat for us.
One of the things that we discussed, and I'll say it again for the benefit of the camera and for anybody that may not have been here, we have the money to just do this. There've been some talk about trying to put money away, and there are some expenditures that are so large that we have to. The town of Ossipee right now has, and has not for several years, had any long-term debt. We have a surplus which is north of $1 million, over and above what we need for our bills. There's no reason not to do these projects and just be done with them. So, I do think they ought to be separated out, because my fear is that you might lose them both and not gain one.
Well, two different departments, too.
Yeah, two different departments as well. But I make a motion that we as a board support the placing of an article to fund a $60,000 playground in Center Ossipee, that money to be taken from the surplus or unassigned fund balance is the actual label of it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you
Move
very
forward.
much.
So I would say absolutely have them start drawing plans. The sooner that gets out, the better. But, okay?
Would we have permission to be able to utilize this board out here if we were able to draw up some design work?
That one there, or these, the one up there, just make sure we leave enough for the general public notices and we don't dominate the whole board, but
Okay.
go for it.
Thank you very much.
Okay? Anybody else on the public input? If not, we're gonna start into the red folder. The minutes of the Selectmen's meeting which occurred on Monday, December 3rd, I make a motion we accept them as printed. You can't, you weren't here.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not on that.
Okey-dokey, Tinky.
And we have the minutes of the Selectmen's Finance Meeting, work session, and non-public session, which occurred on Monday, December 3rd. I make a motion to accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
You have the check voucher totals. Payroll with other benefits for week ending 12/8 is $142,076.66. Accounts payable for week ending 12/3 was $23,224.75. We dispersed to Carroll County $839,923 even, and to the trustee of trust funds $165,000, for a total dispersed this week of $1,170,224.41. Additionally, we have accounts payable for water and sewer, which we track separately, in the amount of $20,913.32. I make a motion to sign. All in favor?
Aye.
These are just the batch totals. We do review every bill that comes in. It's reviewed by the department head and us, and approved before it gets to this stage. We have all independently had a chance to review everything that's in the red folder prior to the meeting. Payroll reimbursement request from water and sewer in the amount of $3,113.18. I make a motion we sign. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a memo to the trustee of trust funds from the Board of Selectmen regarding withdrawal of invasive species control expendable trust funds. This is on milfoil. Total amount of $22,727, and the amounts to which company are broken down. I make a motion we sign it. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a notice of intent to cut wood or timber. This is on Main Street, state project, per attached. .3 acres. Taxes have been paid. I make a motion to approve it. It's actually taxes exempt. All in favor? Aye. You have the Highway Department work log for the last 2 weeks, which are here in the folder if anybody would like to look at it. You have a request for clerical abatement. This is on a boundary line adjustment, results in a refund or abatement of $39. This is on map 6, lot 16. I make a motion we approve it. All in favor? Aye. We have a multi-tiered request for these three actually go together. The first is for a property that we've taken for taxes. So the owner should not have received a bill. It results in a refund of $28. I make a motion to sign. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we do a supplemental warrant to the town of Ossipee for $28. I make a motion we sign. All in favor?
Aye.
And then we do a clerical abatement because the town is exempt for $28. I make a motion we sign it. All in favor?
Aye.
Maybe $30 worth of paper.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We have a contract for use of facilities. Kim DeFranza, Ossipee, to use gym tables and chairs for wildlife encounters with bake sale, December 22nd. The schedule's been okayed by Craig. I make a motion we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a copy of the MS-46, which is the proposed budget and estimate of revenues for the county. It's here in the folder if anybody'd like to look at it. We have a request for clerical abatement. This is on map 117, lot 26. The reason this property sold in August, so we need to bill the correct owners instead of the previous. This results in a refund or abatement of $1,950. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the next item is a supplemental tax warrant for the same property for the tax collector to collect $1,950 from the new owner. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have the daily cash log from the recycling center, showing they collected $4,358.90 in the month of November. Request for abatement. This is on map 23, lot 7, sub 245. This is a camper which was registered for the 2018 tax year, so it should not have been taxed. Results in a refund of $192. I make a motion we sign it. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a copy of a check we received from Northeast Resource Recovery for scrap metal, amount of $413.90. We have a request for clerical abatement. This is on map 23, lot 7, sub G09. The owner wasn't the taxable owner for this, person bill was not the taxable owner for this site during the 2018 tax year. Results in a refund of $415. So make a motion we sign it. All in favor? Aye. This is an extension between us and Granite Hill Municipal Services, who does our assessing. Just read it. This agreement made this 10th day of December 2018 between the town of Ossipee, henceforth known as the town, and Granite Hill Municipal Services, division of Brennan, Spencer, Connor, and Haywood, henceforth known as the second party, and refers to the original agreement dated December 28, 2015, and renewed through December 31st, 2018. Both parties agree to extend the length of this agreement to commence upon expiration of the original agreement through December 31st, 2023. All of the terms in the original agreement should remain in effect during the extended period except for section 11 being modified to remove a person who worked at Granite Hill Municipal Service. I make a motion to sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the highway safety block grant, which I've read, and it's a supplemental patrol grant from highway safety. I'm just not at all convinced where I'm supposed to sign it.
It's initial almost every page.
Every page, this is this one. See the second one?
Yeah?
Yeah, keep going, each one.
Every
Sign that
one of
one.
them.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't doing convenience. I make a motion that I be authorized to initial where required on this grant application.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. I'll do that out.
Parking lot.
You can catch me afterwards. We have an update on the building permits issued between 11/1 and 11/30. There were 19 permits issued, collected $1,131 in fees. We got a copy from Mike Dugas regarding the county having to move their water lines in order to allow for the reconstruction of 28-171. And it says, as Mr. Babson explained at the Selectmen's meeting, the planned roundabout construction will impact and require the relocation of water lines at the intersection of 28-171 that are owned by the county. According to state law, utility facilities, either aerial or underground, are permitted to be within the state right-of-way, but they are by sufferance, quote unquote. This means that they need to be relocated or to make way for highway improvements. The relocation is at the utility owner's expense. The DOT project will reimburse the county for the cost of trenching and backfill and for the salvage value of the impacted water lines per state law for underground municipal facilities. Other details of the utility relocation process are included in the attached letter. And he did include a copy of the letter which went to the county about what needs to be done. Is the delegation aware of this?
Today, we had our organization day, the delegation, so we got together and the commissioners mentioned that as a possible, a probable budget cost.
Yep.
But they have to obviously figure out how much they need.
Yep.
So that budget item would have to be budgeted.
Okay.
So yes, they're aware.
Good. Because it's not really, doesn't really require any action on that. There's nothing that really involves us, other than we obviously, and I was going to suggest if they didn't know about it, but you're telling me they did, that we ought to send a letter to the delegation encouraging them to fund whatever it is that they need to fund, because the last thing that I want to see happen, we've worked really hard to get this bumped from 2020 to 2019, and I would hate like hell to see it get bumped back to 2020 because the county doesn't move the water.
Yeah, they would have to pay for engineering and any other type of design review, whatever. They would have to put an RFP out for that and figure out how much that's going to cost, and we have no idea how much that's going to be.
Okay. I guess there's not much for us to do with this at this point, other than we're aware of it. Yeah, the problem is, though, they're asking for them to have a plan in place by January 19th, which is about a little over a month from now. So somebody needs to, in order for this to go out to bid in April, somebody needs to really move. Well, I hope they do. We have a notice of decision from the planning board. This is regarding case number 18-3-BLA. They were given conditional approval for a boundary line adjustment. This is on map 110, lot 25 and 26 on Mount Shaw Road. We have a letter from Charter Communications regarding programming changes that they're making with the cable. We have a copy of the consent calendar from the Executive Council, which is here if anybody'd like to look at it. We have a water and sewer warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $332.35. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Old business. Anything? Brad?
No, nothing really new to report on any of the projects we have going on.
What's the status on the water review for Constitution Park?
I'll have to check.
Yeah, Craig's working on that.
Yeah.
I think he's taking the lead on contacting through Force Pump and Filter.
Yeah, right.
So I believe he has all the estimates and everything pulled together from that. So I'll have to follow up with him when he returns.
Okay, but have you had a chance to review what it is he's doing?
He was up.
Not lately. I'll do that this week.
Please do.
I'll touch base with them and get coordinated.
Because that's one of the areas we know is coming, and we need to make some decisions about what we want to do out there, so, okay. Mhm.
Nope.
We'd like something on that for next week.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
New business?
Just don't get the Christmas tree decorated this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. I did attend, along with Ellen, attended the day of one of the several preliminary meetings I think we'll be having on the ambulance contract, which is good right now through 2020. It was a 5-year contract, and it can be renewed, but there's a fire chiefs and some members of the select boards are starting to meet to make sure any changes that need to be made to the contract. So that's in progress. Anything else?
No.
Public input. Anybody? Quiet. We have no budget committee meetings.
Yes, we do.
Tuesday.
There is now one
Wednesday.
scheduled for Wednesday at 6 o'clock here at
Wednesday?
the town hall.
Wednesday at 6 o'clock here.
Because Conservation Commission meets at the Fright House.
Okay.
It's gonna be
And that's
complex for
to-
some university.
Oh, it probably will be. That'll be to review the proposed budget as it stands right now and hopefully revenues.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to
I need
mention.
to see the minutes. Did
Yeah.
you see them?
The other thing I wanted to mention too was about another former employee, Danny Riley, who worked for the town for a good many years. He retired due to health reasons 10, 12 years ago,
At least.
10 or 12 years ago now, I guess. He passed away recently, and certainly want to send something to his wife and our condolences. You said what?
Seal the minutes.
Earlier, see, at 3:30, we had a non-public session upstairs under RSA 91A32A, which is a personnel matter, and RSA 91A32E, which is a legal matter. I make a motion, we seal those minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
Can't second
Echo.
twice.
I think it's second.
Okay. Anything else? If not, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.